I'm thankful that I am who I am today, but I wouldn't be without that pain. It's so deep.
Hello, friends, fellow trailblazers, and light keepers. It's Michelle Phillips with this week's episode of Write Your Outcome. This week I have with me Pam Dwyer, and I'm very excited. Hello, Pam. I'm happy that you're here today.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
All the way from San Antonio, Texas, one of my favorite places on the planet. I am going to read a little bit about Pam so everyone gets a great idea of what she's about, and then we are going to dive into this week's episode. Pam Dwyer helps women and professionals break free from the cycles of overdoing, overthinking, and overwhelm. Yuck. We all have that, right? She works with what she calls delay the binge and the +1 theory. She empowers high-performing professionals to go beyond expectations, unlocking greater collaboration, trust, and results in the workplace and in their life. Her transformative mindset about doing your best +1 more provides actionable strategies to help strengthen relationships, inspire teams, and create meaningful value for clients and colleagues. With clear steps to implement this approach, you get to drive extraordinary outcomes and build a culture of trust and excellence. So you get to redefine what's possible, one intentional step at a time. Let me just finish reading. Welcome, Pam, again.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to dig into this conversation.
Yeah.
As you know, this podcast is Write Your Outcome. And my underlying core belief is that no matter what life hands us, we get to write a new outcome for ourselves all the time, every day, every minute. And I love how you started your bio that I read. Overdoing, overthinking, overwhelm. Are these things you experience, and then this is what prompted you to write your outcome and come up with the binge, delay the binge and the +1 theory? What was the impetus for you to create those?
Actually, I know this sounds terrible, but it's I grew up in East Texas and in a very abusive childhood, lots of trauma. And a lot of us have experienced things like that. But when you grow up like that, you learn to read the room, so to speak. And you find the safest person in the room, and you find the most dangerous person in the room. And believe it or not, a child that even as an adult, we make a beeline for the most dangerous, because that's who we're going to focus on. That's who we're going to make sure that we charm or manipulate or control any way to be safe.
So say more about that. So if I walk into a room, I'm going to intuit the most dangerous person and I'm going to move towards them.
Right. Because when you grow up in an abusive home or neglect, abandonment, whatever it is, you try to be invisible, but sometimes you can't. And so you learn to be whatever the most dangerous person needs you to be.
Ooh, okay. So not everybody does this, but certain people have this pattern. Am I understanding that correctly?
Most, this is from just, 8 years of counseling.
Yeah. No,
but they taught me that, the damage is done, but they can teach you coping skills. And, a lot of times as a young person, you don't really know how to behave in society or what's good, what's bad. You observe and watch people, and then you learn what feels best, what feels right. And so I grew up that way. I had no clue who I was, really. But little small situation, like a handful of people were very kind to me. And at first I didn't recognize it. I thought, why are they being nice? What do they want? What's their angle? There wasn't an angle. They were just being kind and seeing me and whatever my need was, which at that time was food. But I wanted to be like that, and even though I couldn't put a name to it, I just knew how it made me feel valued, made me feel seen. And I wanted to be like that.
So as part of your healing journey, once you realize that you were tending to look for the safest person and the most dangerous. And I like what you're saying. You didn't know who you were, because if you're so busy pleasing everybody around you, you lose yourself in that process.
Oh, for sure.
And then here comes someone being kind, and you don't even recognize that because it's not what you're used to. So you distrust just someone being genuinely kind. So walk me through how you got through this and then started creating these tools to help others.
Yeah, that's a big question. Even from my therapists, they're like, how did you turn out the way you've turned out when you come from such a background? And I have, there's 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and there's probably 3 of the 7 that managed to break the cycle of abuse and make a difference in the world. Me being one of them. But it's because, and this is where I'm going with this, I was always striving to learn and educate myself with whatever tools I can find. Or it's like just observing you, for instance, or whatever it is I need to learn. I would just research it and process it and analyze it because I didn't have the education. I didn't have the opportunities that a lot of people had. And so you kind of have to learn on your own. But you tend to overcompensate, in those areas because you feel like you're the weak link. Like you don't have the education or the people showing you or teaching you how to do whatever it is you're trying to learn. And so that's when I realized, I'm like, man, I really overdo a lot of things to compensate for what I view as a weakness.
But let me stop there, because that's such an aha moment, because most people, so somebody could shut down, repeat the pattern, but you stayed open, you stayed curious, and you kept learning.
Yes.
So, was there some event or something that made you realize, oh my gosh, I'm overcompensating?
Yes. My health.
Okay. That's a big wake-up call. Usually.
Yes. Because, mindset is everything. And I learned that the hard way. I had bariatric surgery almost 6 years ago, had huge complications. I mean, I literally almost died.
And please remind me, I know what that is, but is that the stomach stapling, or that's different?
Yeah, it's, there's various kinds of surgeries.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand where we are. Okay.
There's a sleeve, which is quite simple. Yeah. A lot of people get that. I had bypasses where they literally bypass a part of your stomach so that you have just a little bitty pouch for food, about the size of your thumb.
Okay.
And it controls your appetite, because I knew mentally I would never control. I was over 300 pounds at that time.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. And just getting sicker. And I kept trying every diet in the world, and sometimes I'd lose 20, 30 pounds. I would celebrate that, but then I'd gain it back. And then I would gain more. And I knew what I was supposed to do. I educated myself. I know how I'm supposed to move my body and not eat horrible, unhealthy foods, but I chose not to do it. And so then I started trying to figure it out. Why do I keep doing this to myself? Is it deliberate? Do I think am I still struggling with worthiness? Do I think I'm not worthy enough to be healthy? What is all this about? And so then I started researching and talking with so many people that were struggling with a lot of similar things.
Was there similar patterns between these people?
Yes. I mean, it's not always food, right? Some people, believe it or not, go overboard and over exercise or overwork.
Yeah. It's addiction either way. Right.
All I wanted to do was please. And I learned that that's just my way of making you really like me so that I'm safe, or that you accept me. And so I just still was constantly struggling to find my identity. What is Pam like? And what do I want? I don't know, but I know what you want. So I'm going to do that.
So so first of all, you rang my bell when you said mindset, because I do, I have another good friend who did the same surgery, I think, that you did. And after she did it, she used to make the joke. Whenever what did she say? Whenever the urge to exercise hits me, I lay on the couch till it passes,
Mhm.
And I used to say, oh my gosh, that's wrong. Like if you have this, you went through all this process to have this surgery done,
Mhm.
but now you have to learn how to eat right and exercise or do something different or else you'll be in the same situation. So when
Mhm.
you said mindset, it really rang my bell because that's what I'm all about, writing a new outcome.
Mhm.
You have the surgery. When did you realize mindset was the key that was going to help you?
About a year after the surgery, because the surgeon will tell you, you have exactly 1 year, Pam, to get the bulk of the weight off before your body figures it out.
What
And
does that
then
mean? That
regain becomes a big concern.
okay,
And
1 year.
so I started, sure enough, I got most of my weight off that first year because of the tool. And, you're basically starving your body because you can only eat
Yeah.
small amounts of food. But you get used to it. But you're still mentally craving the food for comfort. You're still mentally wanting to eat and not move your body. So what I would like to say to the world is if we would just learn maintenance, how to maintain and address our mindset, our issues first. And, even the surgeon, I wish so much they would have said, you need to learn how to maintain your current weight,
Yes.
you know, before we do before we chop up your insides,
Do
that's
they
going to
give you any classes or support afterwards? I feel like that they need to and they
nothing
don't.
about maintenance. It's all
Nothing.
about educating you about what foods to eat, how much to eat, supplementation. It's very critical
Okay.
because you can no longer absorb vitamins and minerals like you should.
Mm.
And no one ever, I have to get an iron infusion every year or so because the part
Interesting.
they removed is the part of my stomach that absorbs iron.
But did you know that going in?
No, no.
Mm.
And so I became very passionate about, talking to people, not to prevent bariatric surgery. I'm
Right.
all about the tools, man. I
Yeah.
mean, even the
Yeah.
GLP-1s, the injection, I think they're a great tool. But what people mistakenly do is they rely on that tool to do it for them.
Yes.
They
Yes.
don't address what's really wrong, the foundation of the problem. And unless they do, they're going to constantly, relapse, go back to what they were.
So how do you move someone ahead? I've heard research say that, say I want to quit smoking or quit drinking or quit eating chocolate,
Yeah.
that the actual substance is gone from my actual system in 3 days. But it's that memory of the substance, the mind, right, that
Mhm.
keeps wanting it, right? My body is pretty much detoxed from it.
Yes.
How do you teach people to, what was it? Delay the binge and the plus one theory.
We study the lower brain chatter, I call it, because there's the lower brain and the frontal cortex. As I'm sure, well, you're probably far more familiar with it than myself. But what I've learned is that the lower brain is basically the caveman,
Yeah.
survival, flight or fight or flight. It's just going to do say and encourage you to do whatever needs to protect you, to make you
Yeah.
happy. Oh, you're scared or you're sad. Well, you need to eat this chocolate cake because
Yeah.
that's going to make you feel better. And that's the pattern you've developed and the relationship you've developed with the lower brain, and it's going to continue to do that because that's all it knows. And the frontal part of our brain is like the CEO, I guess,
Yeah.
the brain, the smart area. And you know what? Probably know this too, but the lower brain, our brains, that's not speech. We can't talk with the
Mm.
lower brain does not help us talk. The frontal cortex does. It's so interesting to me. And so I teach a lot of my clients, sometimes when you're craving, let's say you crave chocolate. Let's use that as an example. And you really want to eat that bag of Reese's peanut butter cups. First, you got to take a
Been
moment,
there.
take a breath, I set a timer, literally. Set the
Mm.
timer. And while you're setting it, you say out loud, I don't want this candy. I'm really just very stressed about work and I'm seeking comfort. It,
Yeah.
so it is, and I know it's not going to serve me to eat it. I'm going to regret it tomorrow. You say it out loud, it's telling the lower brain what to do.
Yes. Yeah.
And the lower brain can't, the lower brain's just going to do whatever makes you happy, but so there's little things like that, little small incremental steps you can take. And we have that in my program. There's so much you can do to help your brain learn a new pattern.
So it's a repetition, and so many things are popping in my brain. If I'm going to eat something, I think of someone I admire that's really fit, and I'm like, would so-and-so eat that? And I'm like, they probably aren't eating this, bag of chips right now. So maybe you shouldn't have it, because it's this mind game. It's a mind, I need to realize that I'm talking to myself. And when you say it out loud, right, it solidifies it. So I love that you say it out loud. It also makes me think of that old marshmallow experiment with the little kids. There was an experiment years ago where they gave like a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, they gave them a marshmallow and they sat them in a room and they said, if you can wait 5 minutes, I don't remember the exact time.
Oh, yes.
We'll come back, you'll get 2 marshmallows. But if you don't wait, you don't get another marshmallow. And then it shows this little kid looking at this marshmallow. And the study showed that the children that were able to delay the gratification and wait did better in life. It was like this pause. And I love what you're saying too, because you're saying that lower brain, if you don't make the pause, you almost don't give a chance for your higher brain to kick in, because you're just going in your caveman brain. So, and I love what you're saying too, because the more we all understand how our brain works, the more we get to manage, be the master and not the servant.
We take our power back. Yes. Yeah. It's no longer telling us we're a failure. It gets rid of a lot of the shame and guilt that we all seem to carry in one way or another. And if you have shame, guilt, fear, anger, those
which we all have.
Yes, we all have that for whatever reason. But when that is in control, that's when we start seeing it in all avenues of our lives, in work, in personal life. I mean, it will eventually destroy everything you're trying to build.
Hello, it's Michelle Phillips interrupting this podcast to talk about my brand new book, Energize Your Happiness. Tap into your personal energy and shape your destiny. I have spent 25 years researching, testing, and working with high performers. And most people think that happiness is something you earn after you succeed. I am here to tell you that we have it backwards. Happiness is a habit, and it is the fuel for everything that comes next. When I learn something and it helps me in my life, I want to share it with you. I want you to have more fulfillment. I want you to have more energy. And in Energize Your Happiness, I teach you how to manage your energy, not just your time, so you can lead yourself with clarity. You can regulate your emotions and stop running on empty. This isn't about positive thinking. It's not about pretending that life is easy. It is a practical, science-based approach that blends neuroscience, habits, and intentional mindset shifts that help you move out of stress into flow and right outcomes you actually want to live. When you learn how to apply the things that I talk about in this book, you don't just feel better, you make better decisions, you show up stronger, and you create results that last. So I am so excited about this book. I want to shout it from the rooftops. So right now, if you have not read it, I want you to go to energizeyourhappiness.com and I will send you a personally signed copy. You could go to lulu.com. You could go to amazon.com. And if it's already helped you have a better outlook, feel better, sleep easier, please, I would so appreciate a review if you are called to do this. We are all in this together, and I want you to be happy. I want you to feel fulfilled. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this message with you. Thank you so much for listening. Let's get back to the podcast. So you have the surgery, you lose most of your weight in 1 year, and then the mindset stuff clicks in. So now you're working on this delay the binge. And then how did you say, okay, now I want to go and share this with other people? Where did that start?
I don't know if you're spiritual or what, but it started with my love of journaling, believe it or not.
I love journaling.
Oh, I'm such an advocate for it. Go journals.
Yes.
But
I'm looking
it
for
saved
mine,
my life. It saved my life because I lots of counseling to figure out my brokenness, and how to cope with a lot of stuff. And I had many different therapists. I love them all, but every single one would say, you need to journal your feelings in between sessions so that we can visit. And I would be, oh, okay, I don't have time and I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
But I just started writing one sentence, had a
Yes,
bad day
start
today.
small.
Yeah,
Yes.
had a bad day today. I didn't even write why. But what I started noticing is like I would look 2 weeks back, I'd get ready to go to my next session and I would start flipping through and I'm like, oh, there's a pattern here. I didn't think about that. I started seeing things, figuring it out like, oh, I didn't realize I did this every single Monday. What's happening on Monday? Mondays
Oh,
are
that's so good.
Oh, it started educating me even more than my therapist.
One of my good friends and I, we say our journal is our therapist. And you have a saying on your website, turn pain into purpose. So I love that. And I love that you're seeing the patterns because I always say people can't, I guarantee you if you journal for a set amount of time, you will have clarity and you will have a breakthrough. And that's what exactly started happening to you.
Yes, exactly. And then also, I never dreamed of being a writer, okay, or publishing a book. And every single therapist, and I probably had about 8 of them over all the time, and they would all like, oh, we can't wait to read your journal because they were excited to read it. I'm like, what? Why do you want to read? They're like, it's so funny. Or they're like, Pam, it makes us cry. It makes us laugh. You're such
makes
a
you feel
good
something.
writer.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, and that's when the seed was planted about writing because I realized I loved it. I loved writing about things that my therapist would enjoy reading.
And do you have a book? Did I miss that on your website?
Oh my gosh, yes. From the Piney
Oh my gosh,
Woods.
I'm so sorry. And I have it up here. What's the name of your book? Let's promote it.
It's called From the Piney Woods. And I have a pen
name.
name.
I did see that.
PJ Hamilton. And it's all about growing up in East Texas. And it's kind of sad at first. It shows where everything started. But then I have my journal notes every few chapters from my raw journal notes, which took me forever to be brave enough to put that in there. But it really shows you the brokenness. And then the chapters that follow are what caused that. And you can see as I go through therapy, the healing. And
you're reading my mind. Yes.
Yes. You can just see it, my whole mindset changing, and I'm healing and I'm finding my identity and who I am as a woman and what I can do. And it's just, and so a lot of people have really been impacted by it because I thought I was one of few that lived like that. But I'm one of many, or people have it far worse than I ever thought about it being. And so they are just really impacted by it in such a good way. And it has healed my soul. I mean, and so you asked me what caused me to want to speak on it. It's because the only way I can explain it is I went on a cruise last week and I experimented with this. Every age of person, if I gave them a true smile from my toes and just actually took a moment to speak with them, greet them, get to know who they are, genuinely care about what they're saying to me. I mean, they're just they light up. They could be the grumpiest person in the line, but after we visit for a little bit, I found that I can instill some sort of light that helps them feel better.
So I love what you're doing. So everyone, every person has a story and every story helps another. Like I thought I was one of few and I'm one of many. And you're taking I love pain to purpose. So anyone listening, I listened to another author and somebody wrote in, that she was mad about her childhood and mad about the card she was dealt and she couldn't get past it. And it's like, you know what, at the end of the day, those cards are already dealt. I call it dry cement. It's not fair. Life isn't fair, but now you have all this new wet cement in front of you. Yes. And what you're doing, I love this saying, turn pain into purpose, is take that and just a small act of kindness, smiling at somebody, engaging them, can change someone's day. And we are all here we are all here in community. We're all here
Mm-hmm.
walking each other home, as the saying goes.
Mm-hmm.
And, the more we could not worry about our brokenness. And there's another thing that when you were talking came to my head. I heard a singer say once, when you're writing a love song or any kind of song, if it's not scaring the shit out of you, you're not doing something right. Like to put your truth out there is scary.
It is.
And, the best songs are written with a broken heart kind of thing. So, but then you get that lift of people that say, me too. Mm-hmm. I see you. I believe in you and I love you.
And it's all part of becoming, all that pain and all that I went through. I'm thankful that I am who I am today, but I wouldn't be without that pain. It's so deep. But
and I just want to hit that one more time because that is so important. Anyone listening, people say, well, why was I abused? Or why was I this? Or why did my marriage break up? Why did my father die when I was a kid? I'm like, you would not be who you are today without the things that happened to you. So they are gifts.
Yes.
And thank you for affirming that.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And so I do love to love people. And I think, I don't know if you're just born that way or not. My oldest sister always tells me, Pam, you were the most sensitive of all seven. We would just raise our voice and you would cry. But
where do you fall?
Huh? Oh, I'm number 5.
Okay.
Kind of like the middle child. My mother said my first words were, look at me.
Look over here.
Look at me. But I've learned a lot and I have a lot more to learn, but it's just not all about me. It's not.
But that sensitivity is also a gift.
And I do love that it's there. And
where can people find, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Where can people find your book? What is your,
It's everywhere. What I want to say is make sure that you look at From the Piney Woods, written by P.J. Hamilton, 2nd edition. Okay. Because if I could I could probably do a whole episode on what not to do as a new writer.
That's another podcast.
Hire an editor, please.
Yeah. Okay. But I want to go back to the journaling. I give every single client, as soon as they become my client, you get a journal. And some of them look at me like, what are you kidding, lady? And especially the men. And I always tell them that Da Vinci didn't go anywhere without his journal. Like, it's not a diary. It's a journal. It's very different. It's not Dear Diary. Peter winked at me today. It's a journal and you get to use it for what you want to use it for. And I always tease them too. I say, if you want to just write, Michelle's making me write in this damn journal today. And you could write that if you want, but write something. But I love what you said when you saw the patterns. Mm-hmm. So I want to go back to that. What else came from your journaling and healing? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Oh, for sure. And it's so important that, and I try to figure out why people despise it so much. And I try to remember how I didn't like the thought of it. I was too busy. Mm-hmm. And just the thought of writing, I think I did not want to see what I was feeling. But you can ask.
Bingo, ding, 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 ding.
You can ask anyone, what did you feel 2 weeks ago? And they're not going to be able to tell you.
Yeah.
And so men, I always tell them, I'm like, how do you remember how to repair a car problem? Well, I'll look at the manual.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, you read the manual. I said, a journal is just a manual to figure out what the heck is going on with you. Why do I keep making the same mistake over and over?
I love that. It's a manual to get to know yourself. Mm-hmm. I have so I do Write Your Outcome, and I have a workshop, Write Your Outcome, and I have a worksheet where I have people write their new outcomes. And this one man said to me a couple of weeks ago, we were in Texas, we were in Fort Worth. And he said to me, this damn sheet took me 3 hours. I said, cause you're just, once you get in touch, it'll take you 3 minutes.
Yes.
But it takes you 3 hours when you're not used to asking yourself those questions.
Mm-hmm. When I first started speaking, I was so nervous about my first couple of events. I mean, literally like where I was frozen, scared to death. Yeah. And this one lady that spoke before me, and I said, she was so calm, just kidding around. I said, man, have you been a speaker forever? She goes, no. She goes, I'm prepared though. She said that to me. She goes, are you? She goes, usually people that are nervous are not. I'm like, well, I thought I was until just now.
Well, turn your nervousness into confidence. We need a new mantra for you. to go back from pain to purpose, nervousness, or whatever it is, turn the what is it? Make the butterflies fly in formation. So I'm guessing, so those first three words that were in when I read your bio, overdoing, overthinking, and overwhelm. Did the journaling help you attack those or work with them? Talk to me how you got through those.
It really showed me why I was so tired all the time. I always thought I needed a magical tool of some sort, like pills, a diet, something that would just help me not be so exhausted all the time. That was always my complaint in my journal every single day. This happened, blah, 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 blah. And I'm so mentally exhausted. Feels like I have to work twice as hard to accomplish anything. That was my pattern. I thought, okay, so why am I so mentally exhausted all the time? And so I finally figured it out. It's just that I was trying to over please all the time. I was still reading the room. I was still trying to find the safest person and the most dangerous person. It's a tendency, an urge, or an unhealthy habit, because it will destroy who I really am. And I didn't realize that, without saying, gosh, I'm always so tired. I must need a vitamin.
And I'm a believer, when you're fully present with yourself, you're energized. It's when you're giving all your attention and your pieces away of you that you're depleted. So it's really getting into the seat of the soul, as Gary Zukav would say, or, I call it your personal energy alignment. But so my first book was called, so on that thread of thought, my first book was called Happiness is a Habit. You talk about having some unhealthy habits, overeating, not exercising, overthinking, what are some of your new habits that if you have a bad day, you have an off day, what are the habits now that you've incorporated into your life that help you stay
focused on that? Believe it or not, it's the writing, number one, but creativity. Not everyone is a creative. I call us creatives. But when we have so much going on in our minds, and I have plenty of other people that I help that are just as busy-minded, which is what's exhausting you.
Yes.
I call it a brain dump. I literally, and I actually read or heard about it on some podcast, but they called it a brain dump, where you literally get a pen and a piece of paper, and everything that's in your mind, you just write groceries, kids, work, blah, 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 blah. And you write it. And then the task is to circle one or two, maybe three of the most critical, and just focus on those. The rest will wait. It's again the pause.
Okay. So it's refocusing where you're spending your energy.
Get it out of your head.
Yeah.
Because that's telling the lower brain, please be quiet. We're going to write this, and then we're going to focus, and we're going to organize all these thoughts that are jumbling in your head. And so that's a new thing for me, is the brain dump. I really love that. And actually journaling, not just my diet, my food, but I have what I call the 2-column journal. And I draw a line down the middle of the page, and I just do this old school. You can do it digitally because I'm creating an app for that. But anyway, you draw the line down the middle, and on the right side, you write what you plan to do for the day, just for today, and what you're going to eat, what you're going to do, what your work schedule is, whatever that is. And then as you go through the day, or even at the end of the day, you check off what you did, and then you write on the left-hand side what was not on that right side. Like, I plan to eat a salad. Well, instead I ate Doritos or nachos.
Okay.
But not only that, you need to write why. Why did I choose nachos instead of the salad I planned? Why?
And how is this helpful? I want you to break it down for us.
Right. Because that's going to show us the pattern. The journaling, it's going to show us our patterns, our urges.
I ate the Doritos because I was tired and I didn't have time to cook lunch or something like that.
Eventually, we're going to go to, so you're tired all the time, Pam. Why are you always tired? And when you're tired, why are you turning to bad food? Let's talk about that. Let's try to unwrap that.
What I'm also hearing you say, Pam, is it's really facing the stuff we don't like to face about ourselves.
Right.
And when you're looking at it on a piece of paper in black and white, you can't hide from it anymore. And now you have to do something about it. Well, you're holding yourself accountable.
Well, and also it shows that you're human. It's okay. All right. So don't beat yourself up. And my biggest thing is you're not ever starting over. All right. You may
Mm.
screw up today. You may not follow the plan at all. But you know what? We're going to stop there, take a pause, take a breath, and we're going to think about, all right, let's analyze this. Let's talk about it. Let's try to figure out what's really going on.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it doesn't work right away. It takes people at least 4 to 6 weeks before they're like, okay, I did this again, Pam.
Mm.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Well, I feel really bad. They're always ashamed of it. I'm like, it's okay. I like hostess ding dongs too.
Well, it's what you said earlier. It's like I knew what to do, but I didn't do it. So
Yeah.
why, if we know but it goes back to that wiring. It goes back to the lower brain, the caveman brain. And I read Tina Turner's book last year, and I loved it. And she used the term escape velocity. And, she was in a very abusive marriage and all this crazy stuff. And she talked about the planets. In quantum physics, the planets are, rotating. And in order for a planet to leave its orbit, it's got to be going so fast that it gets bounced out of the orbit. So escape velocity is almost with our thoughts. If I can get enough positive thoughts, enough positive momentum, enough positive action, like you said, even if it's a small steps, eventually I almost get spit out of my old orbit, my old bad pattern, and I could create a new one. And that's very exciting.
Yeah. And sometimes we just need someone to support us to create the new pattern. Or maybe we don't know.
So talk about that. Talk about support.
Oh my goodness. It's so critical for men and women.
Yeah.
But women really, we seem to do very well when there's someone to lean on that believes in you no matter what. That unconditional acceptance. So my goal is to build a community of people. I mean, I'm not just focusing on women, but I think I relate to women in a larger way. Men are a whole other mindset, and I can go there. But of course, I'm a woman, so of course I know how we think. I know how I think. But I community and just supporting one another, believing in one another, no matter what. Even when I have the worst day.
So important.
Oh my gosh. Just
I have
unconditional.
I have two group texts. One is where's a group of us, we call ourselves the village. And there's 4 of us. And then the other 3 women and 1 man. And then the other one is another 4 women. I'm one of them, and we call ourselves the Positivity Posse.
Oh, I love that.
It's just this little text support group that we can reach out and say, we're having a good day, we're having a bad day. But support is so important. So what are maybe the top 3 takeaways that you want to leave people with today?
You are not broken. You are human. All right. That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Get rid of the fear and the shame and the anger. And you do that small steps. Yeah. It can't all be done in one day or 1 week even, or 1 month. It takes time, and you're going to mess up because you're human. Okay. So, please allow yourself to learn with your mistake. Perfect. That's what my son used to tell me in 3rd grade. He used to say, you'd ask him, how do you learn? He'd say, by messing up.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Mistakes define us. They don't define you. They teach you. Your past doesn't Your past doesn't define you, it prepares you. Yeah. And so number 2 would be educate yourself. Continue to learn. You never know it all. Yeah. You can always learn more, and surround yourself by people that know and have succeeded in the areas you want to learn about. Yeah. Just glean everything you can, because, sometimes even if you go to 20 years of college, and educate yourself, there's still real life experiences that you can definitely learn from. Yeah. And number 3 is learn how to have your brain and your heart work as a team.
I always say that. I love that. Connect your head to your heart. So you're not broken. Keep learning. Connect your head to your heart. There's so many golden nuggets here for everyone listening. And some of this stuff, people might be listening and saying, oh, it's so simple. I've heard that. And I'm like, I don't care if you've heard it a million times. are you using it?
Mhm.
Are you applying it in your life? Because that's kind of when the rubber meets the road and you get traction. So this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Tell people if they want to follow you or connect with you, where can they find you?
The best way is at pamdwyerspeaker.com. You can go and see all of my work there. I write short stories that are hilarious. I post them every Tuesday. They're free. And I have so much to share and so many messages to give. So I can do that through my short stories. Takes you literally 2 minutes to read.
So
But
you
I
just
get
love to share the gift. So where are you're posting them on your website or on?
I actually email them out. My goal
so your
is
newsletter
to grow my email list because that's where I announce my new books, upcoming new books. I have 2 new books coming in the new year. Delay the Binge is one, and the other is it's called From the Piney Woods is my first book. It's a bestseller now. But the next one is Branches from the Piney Woods, and it's a collection of my favorite short stories in a way that's like a testimony to all the things, all the lessons I try to teach.
So you said you didn't think you were a writer, and look at you. I love all this. So congratulations. Yeah. I just have my second book coming out. So congratulations on these books. Congratulations on you having a bestseller. I know the next 2 books will go straight to, best-selling author also. Please, anyone listening, please follow Pam, link in with her, go to her website, get on her email list. As always, I will have all her contact information in the show notes. So many, I hope you were taking notes, all these people that are listening. I know if you're driving, you're not taking notes, but there were so many pearls of wisdom. So thank you, Pam, for being here.
Thank you, Michelle. I just love it. Anytime I can share the message, get that out there.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. This is Michelle Phillips. Again, look at Pam. It doesn't matter what cards you've been dealt. You always get to write your outcome. You are holding the pen. So make it a great day and write your outcome. That's a wrap for today's episode of Write Your Outcome with me, Michelle Phillips. If something sparked in you and you enjoyed this podcast, please don't forget to rate, review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's keep these ripples going and make it a great